Hey guys, I'm here in Long Beach, California with this, the brand new Honda Civic Turbo, and it's a manual now. Honda flew us out here, me and Case was behind the camera, to take a look at the brand new Honda Pilot and Honda Accord, but they lent us this car, so we thought, you know what, let's review it. In Case, we're gonna do that when?
Right after a word from our sponsor.
It took a while to get up here. We started out around 1959. But we didn't do all that just to get here. We did it to give you a truck that'll take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.
Hey Case, what do you think is the average new car price in America today?
It's getting up there, isn't it?
Yep, it's over $45,000. And that's why this Honda Civic hatch, I think, is a bargain. Because look, I've got the Monroney right here. And this car comes in, and I'm going to spill the beans right away, $31,540 with destination, which is incredible considering that it's, what, $15,000 less than the average new car price.
It's about 2/3 of the average new car price. So now in this video, we can check out everything that you get for that amount of money.
Wow, they've got some funky sounding police cars here in California.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic here in California.
And by the way, guys, if you're curious about the new Pilot and the new Accord, we're going to publish those videos very soon, so alltfl.com. So the other number on this Case, I got to tell you that I'm really impressed by is this.
Yeah, 31 miles per gallon and 37 highway, which is really good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with gas prices where they are, with new car prices, I got to tell you, I think this is a bargain in the new car world. Now let's start under the hood because it does have a very feisty little 1.5 liter turbo.
Yeah, exactly. So under this hood is that 1.5 liter turbo, which here at sea level especially makes a really adequate 180 horsepower. This is not an especially huge car, and it really doesn't need tons and tons of power to motivate it.
Okay, as you can tell, I didn't prepare for this.
Oh man.
Oh gosh.
How hard is it gonna be to find the latch? This, if you didn't know, is the hardest part of our job as auto journalists.
Because we open up so many different cars.
We open so many different hoods.
Here, I'm gonna take this, you go for it. See if you can figure it out.
Oh, this one is interesting.
It's tricky, huh?
I think I found something. There we go.
Nice work, Case.
Yeah, there's
nice
that
work.
glorious 1.5 liter turbo. Like I said, 180 horsepower. And this engine paired up to the 6-speed manual that we have on the inside is actually decently fun. We were driving along the highway yesterday, and even in 6th gear, if you lean on the pedal, it has no problem speeding up. So it's not just an idling gear. It's got enough torque to accelerate even in 6th. Should we show them the interior?
Yeah, but before we do that, let's show them the back.
Yeah.
Because it is a hatchback, which I love.
Yeah, I think the Civic hatch is the much better looking version, and we have all of our stuff back here, both of our camera bags, both of our luggage, because we're on this trip out here in California, and plenty of space so we could fit a couple more bags. You have a little privacy shade here.
Yeah, I like the way that works. Usually they roll, you know, with the direction of the car.
And then they're kind of hard to stow.
Yeah, that's a really nice, and how about those exhaust tips? Are they real?
They are
they
actually
fake?
in this car.
Let's
so
see. Here, I'll give you the camera.
Yeah, if we get in, look at that. There's one, and there's two. So these are both real exhaust outlets, which is getting harder and harder to find these days. And then this color, what is it, stealth gray?
Sonic gray.
Sonic gray, yeah, this is a really good looking color on this car. On camera, it doesn't pop a ton, but in person, it's a really nice finish.
Now we're rolling on 18s. These are 235/40 Conti Pro contacts.
Yeah.
All season tire.
Yeah, and a good looking wheel too.
Yeah, it is a good looking wheel. I love this combination, you know. I think this is the one you're gonna want like 30 years from now. People will be like, oh wow, that was a really cool color.
Yeah, it is a really cool color. It's gonna age well, I agree with you. And then let's pop on the inside and check out. So this is really the most amazing thing about the new Civic.
Here, let me turn around so we're not shooting into the sun.
The new Civic interior is such an unbelievably big step up from the previous generation in design and materials. The vent layout, this honeycomb that kind of disguises where the vents actually are versus what is just more dash. That is a really nice piece of design. We still have physical buttons for the HVAC controls. Still have a physical volume knob, but a nice digital instrument cluster. Of course, a decent sized center screen, Apple CarPlay,
Okay.
Android Auto.
And then look at this, real buttons, real volume, and actually even a real tuning little toggle here. I love that. I love the fact that you've got, like you said, real buttons. You know, the thing about Hondas is they used to be like very honest, right? So they were very straightforward and easy to use. And I think they've come back to that with this car because, you know, some of the Hondas now have push button transmission. Of course, this has my favorite. It's a regular old, like the way cars were back in like before you and I were born, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And look at some of these features in here. You've got heated seats for under $32,000. You've got
wireless charger,
wireless charging. Yeah, that's pretty great, you know. And you've got an econ button right there. And I do love the layout of the. Let me show them of the dash here, the instrument cluster. Right, you've got your tachometer.
Yeah, it's sharp. It's easy to read.
Yeah, and 160 mile an hour top speed as indicated.
Yeah. Not sure about 160. Look at that. We get a sunroof. It's small, but you still have a sunroof, which again, like you said, for 30 grand.
Before we drive it, let's see if we fit in the back. Now, I'll be sitting behind myself. I think your seat is as far back as possible as well. So let's jump in the back.
Yeah, because this is still a decently small car. I mean, every generation of these cars always gets bigger, but it's not massive. How are you doing on headroom?
Yeah, it's tight.
It's tight.
But I got leg room and I have chargers. What more can you want?
I mean,
this is as far back as you can go.
It would be nice to have vents for the rear seat passengers.
Agreed.
But again, I mean, there's certain places where you have to compromise if you want to keep that price down.
I think part of that is the lower roof line, right, of the sedan. That's why you're losing headroom.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of what you come to expect. But again, you have a good amount of trunk space. If you have some bigger passengers like you might not want to do a road trip in the back seat.
No, I would not want to do a road trip, but I would do one on the front seat.
Yeah, no. And honestly, I mean, the door cards, the finish of everything, it's nice, good materials. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. Everything feels, you know, nice to the touch. There aren't a lot of cheap plastics. There's a little bit over here if you look where the kind of the door pocket is.
Yeah, that's not a spectacular piece of plastic, but it's not a touch point. All of the touch points in this car are really nice. The wheel feels nice. The buttons have a really nice bit of feedback.
Now look at all the stuff you get for, you know, just over 30. I know that's a 3. I'd rather see that as a 2, but still, I mean, you get Honda Sensing, right, which is adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation, lane keep, and road departure mitigation. So one of the things that the Japanese have done is they've kind of gone into an arms race to provide as much safety tech as possible. So Toyota does it, Honda does it, and I love that Mazda does it, and I love the fact that we have this arms race because let's face it, at the end of the day, you're putting the most important thing in your life in these cars, which is your family, your friends, your pets, right?
Your videographer.
My videographer. And so you want something that's going to keep you safe in an accident. And you're right, I love this honeycomb. It's been really a cool kind of Honda design thing. Here, a little bit of a, not bad.
Yeah, it's deep. It's not massive. Yeah,
well,
let's get it on the road.
Yeah.
Tell us how it drives.
Okay. I don't like the electronic brake. I'd still rather have a regular brake, but you know.
Yeah, a physical parking brake would be nice, but that's pretty much just doesn't exist anymore.
Now there are some things, there is some cost cutting. So for instance, I have a bad back, so I always look for lumbar. I don't feel any lumbar support.
Yeah.
Unless it's on this side. Is there anything here? No.
Not that I see.
No lumbar support. And as this is going to sound, look, I'm going to be really gentle in my criticism of this transmission because I love manuals. So while
we don't want them to go away. Yeah.
Exactly. While I don't want to be too harsh on Honda because they still have provided a manual transmission, it's not the world's best. It's a little bit. I would say it's a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic economy car transmission. The clutch is very light, and the shifting feel is a bit rubbery. But I mean I would still pick that over a CVT any day of the week.
Yeah, so dare I say rubbery and not cheap at the same time. But you know what? I'll still take it head and shoulders above a CVT or an automatic because it's fun to drive. Now let's give it a little bit of the beans here at sea level, see how it accelerates. Oh yeah, this is a very free revving engine.
Yeah, it's perfectly adequate, and like
that.
you just said, free revving. Honda builds great engines, so it's really not a bad car to drive.
No, it's actually a hoot to drive. I think the steering's a little on the heavy side, which is, to be expected for a modern car. I'd like it to be a little bit more lively, a little bit more engaging. But let's face it, we're here in Tuesday morning Long Beach traffic.
Yeah.
And I would love to get this thing like on Angel's Crest, right? But this is where most people are going to drive it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is the way most people are going to use this, right? They're going to drive it to work. It's going to be you're not buying this as a Canyon Carver. If you want the Canyon Carver, you'll get the SI or you'll get the
Type R that's upcoming.
That's upcoming. By the way, Paul's going to drive that.
I'm going with him.
Yeah, you guys are going to go drive that, so I can't wait to see your review of that car.
Yeah.
So this is the way people are going to drive this. It's always going to be more of a commuter car than a Canyon Carver. But as a commuter car, it does really well. And it's such a free revving engine. Look at that. Revs right up to almost 6,500 RPMs.
Yeah.
I don't know what more you'd want out of a car than that.
No, it's a fun enough car to drive, and again, what you were saying, this is how people are going to use it, and for day-to-day driving, and this is one of the most worry-free, easy-to-live-with vehicles that you can come across. That's one of the things that Honda is great at. They give you a lot of content, a lot of features, a lot of comfort and practicality in a vehicle to just get you around every day, which at the end of the day is what most people need their cars to do.
Yeah, now this of course competes with, I would say, head-to-head the Corolla.
Yeah.
And now there's going to be a Corolla GR, which we just drove, which is going to go head-to-head with the Type R. And so I am so happy to see kind of this hot hatch segment still alive. I gotta tell you, Case, with the way the economy is and the supply side issues that manufacturers are experiencing right now, it seems like that these inexpensive cars that most people drive are far and few between. You know what I'm saying? So Cadillac is now building a $300,000 Celestiq, right?
Yeah.
A $110,000 Hummer EV. Ford's building the Raptor R, which is $110,000. I mean, I think the manufacturers have figured out that there's money to be made at the top end of the market, but this is where most people live.
Yeah, and it's something that we see all the time when we review things like the Hummer EV. I mean, people are still price sensitive, and this is really the vehicle for you if you are, because you get a lot.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately, well, that was my mitigation telling me that there's somebody in my blind spot. How cool is that? But it's a segment that is, slowly and surely dying, both sedans and hot hatches being replaced by, obviously, crossovers. But there's something viscerally much more fun about being low in a car, having something that can kind of, like you're kind of a shark among minnows, right? And I know people like to be up high so they can see over things, but the second you get up high so you can see over things, you get heavy and you get ponderous. Whereas this is, fun and frisky. Yeah,
I mean, the driving dynamics of this versus, say, an HRV is going to be a night and day difference. You're going to have a lot more fun driving this if you do have some windy roads around you, then you could definitely have some fun in this car.
But I'd be happy even driving it to work. I'd be happy getting in this thing. It would put a smile on my face, seeing the Sonic Gray, seeing kind of that kind of sporty hatchback, and just thinking to myself, work may suck, but getting there's not.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for having a manual transmission in a car that's not overpowered, so that on your way to work, every day can be a race. Just getting up to the speed limit, you can wind it up and you can enjoy driving a slow car fast versus a fast car slow.
Yeah, you made a good point. And I wouldn't call this a slow car.
No, it's not slow, but that's kind of how the saying goes.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? 180 horsepower is a lot, but with electrification, it's probably not a lot, right? An electric car, if it was in this category, might have easily 250 horsepower and instant torque, but it wouldn't have the sound, it wouldn't have the 6-speed, and it certainly wouldn't have the price tag. There are no affordable electric cars. As far as I know, Tesla's been promising one for the last 12 years. The first one that's coming out could be a Chevy, but even, if you look at the Chevy Bolt, still, the one we just had at the office, $38,000.
Yeah. There's a lot of money.
$30,000, with a manual. I mean, it's pretty obvious which of those two I would choose today. Maybe one day, when you can get a car that's as much fun, that's electric as this one, then I'll go for the electric. But for right now, I'd highly recommend the new Honda Civic. especially in Sonic Gray. Well, as always, this has been Roman. Thank you, Case, for taking the time to come out here to Cali with me. And guys, stay tuned. Very soon, we can't talk about it because it's embargoed, but very soon we're going to have the new Accord, a sneak peek, an early preview, and of course, the new Pilot Trail Sport. See you guys next time. Ciao.